All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Will Simpson. I am the Los Angeles Upwork ambassador. And before we get started here, I just wanted to point out a few technical items. We will be recording this webinar, and it will be available to you with the same link that you used to register a couple hours after the event has finished. So feel free to go ahead and grab a copy of that. And I will also be fielding questions throughout the presentation. So feel free to type it in as we go. I'll either address them one-on-one, or if I feel like if it's a good topic for us to bring up as a group, I'll go ahead and pause mic and we'll go ahead and bring it up then. Otherwise, we can go ahead and circle back at the very end. So our speaker today is well-known expert freelancer coach Mike Volkin. Many of you likely recognize him from one of his numerous media appearances or his article contributions to Forbes. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mike. I'm going to go ahead and transfer controls over to you, and why don't you start us off by telling us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good. All right, everybody. Let me show my screen. All right. Thanks for having me on, everybody. Good to see you. Today we're going to be talking about leveling up your freelancing brand. We got a lot to cover in a short amount of time, so I'm going to go right into it. This is my least favorite slide. Let me just get this out of the way first. This is where I talk about myself. I feel like I have to do this so you know that Will just didn't pick some schmo off the street to talk about freelancing. I'm an 8-year Army vet. I served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. Specialized in biological and chemical warfare, 2 bachelors, 1 master's, blah, blah, blah. Built and sold a few companies, authored a few books, one did pretty good, blah, blah, blah. Lots of guest appearances, expert panelists at Forbes. Look, none of that stuff really matters, okay? What matters is that I've been freelancing as a marketing consultant for a long time. I've worked with over 400 clients. If my freelancing career was a child, it'd have its own driver's license. That's how long I'd have been freelancing. I'm a lead instructor at Freelancer Masterclass, and my passion in life now is empowering freelancing or empowering freelancers to get the freedom and money that they deserve so they never have to work a corporate job again. There's a lot of benefits to being a freelancer. It's the best job in the world. There's no commute. You're your own boss. You can wear whatever you want. I mean, look, just look at this. I have sport coat and athletic shorts on, and you're lucky I even had pants on today. Sometimes I don't even put on pants, but anyway, freelancing is the best job in the world, and there's a reason why they call it a side gig, because it's really hard to do it full time. And I'm going to show you today, and this is such a timely webinar because so many people are out of work now or have reduced work. I'm going to show you how to make freelancing a full-time career for you. There's a lot to cover in a short amount of time, so I'm going to dive right into it and just tell you the 3 main things you're going to learn in today's webinar. First thing, you're going to learn how to make a profile that stands out to prospects, how to write a proposal that converts prospects to clients, and then how to charge higher rates and even have your clients love you for it. So I'm going to ask that you don't take notes, turn off Netflix. You can watch Tiger King later, put your Instagram on hold, put your cat in a closet, just focus on what I have to say, because we're going over some very specific tips today. And then Will is going to send a webinar replay to everybody. So that's when you can take your notes, okay? So 35 minutes, give me that, and you're going to have your best month on Upwork next month, even this month, if you apply what I show you. First of all, I just mentioned that I have a few degrees. They're in science, and I've been formally trained on how to do testing, scientific tests. So I actually spent years testing the Upwork algorithm. I did that because when I joined Upwork, they have millions of freelancers, and I needed to find a way to be on the top of all those search results that companies are looking when they're looking for freelancers. So for example, some of the things I would test. One thing is I would have a profile with a video and then without a video. So I would keep a spreadsheet and note the profile views every month, making no other changes to my profile. All things considered, that would be the value that having a video on your profile would have. And luckily, Upwork gives you valuable stats, and one of those is how many times your profile is viewed. You can see them right in the My Stats section, okay? So I would actually do this to dozens and dozens of different ranking factors. Now, what I have determined that there's actually potentially hundreds of ranking factors. There's actually quite a complex algorithm going on at Upwork, but there's 28 that really matter. And these 28, I expect, actually cover about 95 to 98% of the algorithm. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to go over all of these today. I actually have a different course. Maybe we can Maybe Will have me back on later where I'll talk about them. I have an Upwork mastery course. But what I'm going to do today, since we have just a little bit of time, I'm going to give you the ones that you can change today, that you can make and improve today, that will make a difference for you tomorrow, okay? So let's dive into one of the big ones. The easiest one, the profile completeness. I want you to make sure that your profile is at 100% completeness. Now you can see this in your dashboard under your My Stats page. So go in the nav bar at the top of every page, there's a navigation bar, and there's one called Find Work, okay? Just click that and go to My Stats. The profile completeness is at the bottom of the page. If it doesn't say 100%, make it 100%. And please note that without a profile photo, your completeness score never exceeds 50%. That's how important a photo is. So here's a tip. When your name shows up in a search result, the person that posted the job is searching for freelancers to hire. They see your photo, the title of your profile, and a couple sentences from your profile. The photo is what gets them to click. I mean, the title a little bit, but most of the photo. All things being considered, they have two freelancers they're looking at. One has a profile photo where he looks mean and grumpy, and the other one has a nice smile. Who are you going to click on, right? So there's a tip with getting a great profile photo. Go to a website called photofeeler.com. Hopefully you can see my mouse right here. Photofeeler.com. Now, this is actually for dating sites, but you can use this for Upwork. It's actually a fantastic tool. What you do is you take several different pictures of yourself in various positions, and you upload it to Photofeeler, and the crowd will vote on various factors like how competent you look, how likable you look, how influential you look. And what you want to do is take, of course, the highest rated one and put that as your profile picture on Upwork. You can see, this isn't me, but this is an example of a person who uploaded 3 pictures of themselves. And for whatever reason, we can talk for a half an hour on why that one was selected the highest. But the first one there, on the one on the left, ranked the highest of competency. He looked very likable and he looked influential. Could be his smile, could be the way he's leaning forward, could be the headspace, could be a lot of different things. But don't question it. Just take the one that was a winner and use that for your profile picture. Okay? All right. We're gonna blow through these really fast, guys. I've got a lot to show you. All right. Utilize the video. I mentioned it earlier. Upwork lets you have a video. It's crazy if you're not using it. My testing shows that there's a 31% lift in profile visibility if you have a profile. But there's some tips. I've seen some terrible profiles that actually do worse than do good. So first thing, keep it short, under 3 minutes, okay? I want you to talk about the value you provide to clients. You might say, I don't know how to do that. Stay to the end of this webinar. It's all about providing value to your clients and how to communicate that, okay? Shoot the video with a good camera, have a good background. You can see in my video there, my wife had made some artwork with some maps that are divided up. I used that. I put some flowers in the foreground to give it some depth. And then I want you to be well dressed. I have a collared shirt on. You know, I look somewhat professional. I shaved. I should have got a haircut, but I didn't. But you get the point. All right, so I'm talking directly to the camera. So what you should do is don't read from a script. I want you to write down 3 or 5 bullet points and some value that you provide to clients and just riff off those bullet points. That's the start of your talking point. And then at the end, just sign off, say, I'd love to see you on a discovery call, and that's your video. Don't think about it too much. I've seen videos where people will do like explainer videos and cartoons and stock images. Don't do any of that stuff. This is you giving a one-off presentation to the client without them even asking for an interview yet. So it's your opportunity to really be different and shine, okay? So use that video. Oh, the reply rate. All right, super important. How quickly you respond to job invites is important. Now, this doesn't include messages from clients. This stat is available on your My Stats page. Again, go to Find Work at the top, go down to My Stats, and you can see the screenshot here I took. It shows that I have always, I'm almost pegged out always at the top of communication. So what I do to get a really fast response time is I install the Upwork app for faster responses. Okay, so it gives you a little notification that says you've been invited to apply for a job, and then I respond immediately. Or you've been sent a message. That doesn't count towards your communication stats, but it's important to respond anyway to clients when they send you a message, a follow-up message. Okay. My testing shows that you are 36% more likely to get an interview on Upwork if you apply within the 4 hours of the job being posted. I test this out of 409 bid letters. Okay, I have a detailed spreadsheet of when I responded. I know you're making fun of me on your screen. That's okay. This is the kind of stuff I do, and that's what gets me on the homepage of Upwork. That's what gets me, webinars from guys like Will. Like, that's the kind of stuff. I'm teaching you this out of years of data that I've collected, and I'm giving you all my quote unquote secrets. Okay, 36% more likely. So you want to apply within the first 4 hours of a job's being posted. Now, it's important to understand how people hire freelancers. It's different than how they hire corporate jobs. When you go to a corporate job, you get placed in a pile with other resumes, okay? And then the HR manager will say, here's the good pile and here's the bad pile. If you're in that good pile, you make it to the first round, or they might do a phone interview. And then if you make it to that round, you get the second round, or it's in person, and so on and so forth, until there's one person left, and then you get the job. That's how people hire, right? It's almost like a tournament. But for freelancers, it's the first one to interview that meets the prospect's criteria will most likely get the job. All right, big difference. So you want to reply fast and communicate your value quickly. And again, I'm going to show you how to communicate that value in just a few minutes. Hope I'm not going too fast, but I feel like I want to just get so much stuff in. All right, okay. Invites are gold. All right, these are clients asking you to interview for their job. What better situation can you get than that? Make sure in your notification section, what you could do is you go to settings and then notification, that this box is checked. So you receive an email when you get invited, okay? So in your settings section, it says freelancers and agency proposals. You put an offer or interview invitation is received, and then you'll get a notification for that. Now, I hire a lot on Upwork as well. And here's a little stat on the right. The last 100 invites I sent to freelancers for jobs I was hiring for, only 28 responded. 28 out of 100. I was literally asking people to apply for a job where I wanted to basically hand them money, and people just didn't respond. That is pathetic. Hopefully, since you guys are on this webinar and you care about freelancing, you will take to heart that you should be setting up your proper notifications and responding to invites in a very timely manner. Okay, everything good, Will? All right, good. Feedback.
Actually, I had one quick question that quite a few people were popping up here. I wanted to bring it up. Going back to profile videos, a lot of people are curious, from your professional opinion, is it better to have a live video of my face, or if I'm not comfortable maybe showing my face, or I don't feel like I'm, look the part, or whatever the case may be, is an animated video as good, or maybe like a reel of my portfolio? Do you want to speak to that?
Good question. Well, listen, I mean, in lieu of having no video at all, it's something, right? Having animated, but the best is being personal, being face-to-face. I mean, if you don't have, the confidence to be on video, that might be a problem for freelancing moving forward. If you're going to be Skyping with clients, throughout the world and whatnot, a lot of them like to Skype. So get over that fear, but at the very least, have some kind of video. The biggest priority here is to be face-to-face, but if you can't do that, do something animated, or do maybe just an audio one with an audio graphic going, with your voice. I've seen those before as well. Okay, excellent, thank you. Feedback. So left by your clients, this is a major ranking factor, huge. Think about it from Upwork's perspective. They don't want to give companies their bread and butter who post job posts to hire freelancers. They don't want to give a list of freelancers who have like a job success score of like 60 or 70. They want to give good results, good freelancers showing up in the search results. So here's a tip. Refunded clients are unable to leave feedback. So offer a refund if you think a bad review is coming in, and a bad review is 3 stars or less. 4 stars does hurt your score a little bit, but it's still acceptable to clients. 4 and 5 stars are okay. I know too many freelancers where one bad review is dragging down their JSS, and then the JSS is your job success score. You've seen them as you searched on Upwork for other freelancers. It says 60%, 80%, 95%, whatever. One bad scathing review will drag down. It's almost like the silent killer. So many people look at your profile and see that one and just believe it's true, whether it's not. Hey, listen, everybody gets bad reviews, but multiple bad reviews. When I hire for jobs on Upwork, I look at freelancing, a review for a freelancer, and if I see multiple categories, like the communication is always like a 1 or a 2 star, then I'll know that if I hire that freelancer, I'm gonna have communication issues. So refund your clients money if you don't think that you're gonna get at least a 4-star review, okay? Okay, getting your profile to rank well. What I want you to do is pick a few keywords or phrases that you want Upwork to rank you for. Put them in your title, put them in the top paragraph, and a couple more times throughout your profile. Don't keyword stuff. That means like 20 times or like a paragraph at the end with just the keyword listed over and over again. That doesn't work. But I want you to also utilize specific profiles. Upwork just rolled this out. Okay, it's fairly new. So instead of being an SEO expert and a marketing strategy expert, you can have a profile for each of those specialties. So it's okay if you have, it's actually preferred if you have multiple skill sets. Break out these into individual profiles, into specialized profiles. Okay, you can see here I have a general profile one, I have one on marketing strategy, so on and so forth. Okay. Now here's a tip. Follow Upwork on social media, okay? Every quarter year, they put out a keyword list on what the most popular keyword searches are by the client. So I want you to use that list to populate your profile with those keywords that are hot, that pertain to your line of work. Now in the replay, when you watch this again, note this link. This is an example of one of the reports that they put out. I took a screenshot of it. Here it is. Okay, so it says Upwork 100 provides intel for 2020 planning. And on the right, I pasted like the top 25 keywords. If any of these meet, if you can service the clients with any of these keywords, by all means, put them in your profile, put them in your title. Okay, this is what's hot. So follow Upwork and understand the what's hot and what's not, and your profile will be just that much more powerful. Okay, did you know? Probably not, because I'm telling you this right now. My conversion stats, bids under 100 words convert at 27%, and bids at over 100 words are 24.3%. Now a bid is when you see a job posting you like and you want to apply for it. That's a bid, like a bid letter you're sending. Now you might think that 2.7% is not a lot. Why do I care about 2.7%? Well, think about it. If you apply to 100 jobs a month or even a year on Upwork, and you can increase your odds of your chances of getting a call by 2%, that's an extra few clients every year just from doing bids correctly under 100 words. Don't be too wordy. And also the big one, bids with a video, 33.7%, bids without a video, 25.9%. So almost an 8% increase. All right. Now do not confuse this video with the video I was talking about earlier on your profile page. This is a video that you're going to send to prospects in your bid letter that is personalized, talking about their project and about them. All right. Okay, I'm about to give away like a huge secret. I almost don't want to give this away, but Will's a good guy and I'm going to give it away. All right. I have tested hundreds and hundreds of variations of bid letters, and I'm going to give you my top performing bid letter that gets me a call 71% of the time. But before I give this away, I'm going to show you the specific engineer structure of why this bid letter is so successful. The first point is you want to have a custom sentence that specifically references the project. Okay. And then you want to tell them who you are and who you helped. Now, before I continue, let me just make this point. I know a lot of you guys, you send your bid letters and it's really like the same, right? It's just copy and paste. Many of you guys do that. That's okay, but don't think like what I'm sending you now is going to be something that is going to take a lot of time. I'm talking about this bid letter takes less than 2 minutes to put together. So replace what you're doing now with this and you're going to get many more jobs on Upwork, okay? The third thing you want to do, appeal to their needs and pain points. So tell them the work that you like to do and see if that provides commonality into what they're asking. I want you to actually read the job description and go down it and pick out keywords that you can relate to and that you've helped clients in the past for, okay? And then you add that custom video link. I'll show you how to do that. But overall, under 100 words, keep it short and keep it polite, okay? And I want you to ask a question that is easy for them to answer. It's called the leading question, all right? I know I like forensic files. I like those shows where people are on trial for whatever crime, and you always hear that attorney asking the witness like a yes or no question. It's like the witness never needs to say that much because the lawyers are asking leading questions, questions they know answers to and questions that are easy to ask and answer. So I'm going to show you a little bit about that. So let's go through the highest converting bid letter I have sent out of 644 variations, gets me a phone call 71% of the time. But before I do that, let me show you 2 free tools you're gonna need. Number 1, Auto Text Expander for Google Chrome. All right, if you don't use Google Chrome, I'm sure there's an equivalent. Basically what this does is you upload this or you download this extension and you can type in paragraphs and assign a hotkey to it. okay? So for example, my hotkey is #U. That means Upwork bid letter basically. And then it'll post like 3 paragraphs of text just by hitting #U. So you don't have to keep retyping the same thing. The other thing you're gonna need is loom.com. That's a free account. It basically allows you to shoot videos right from your webcam, and it gives you a link where you can send it. And then you can even see if it's being viewed, and you get a whole bunch of cool stats about that, okay? Here it is, here's the bid letter. Again, don't worry about jotting this down, we got a replay coming. Hi, first name, and yes, you can get the first name. I know Upwork tries to hide it. I don't know if they want me to say this or not, but I'm gonna. You can yell at me later, Will. I'm gonna show you how to get the first name of a client, okay? I know Upwork hides it. Let me read this, and I'm gonna show you the structure and the reasoning behind it. Interesting job post. Too often I don't see enough detail in job posts, and the detail you provided was great. I'm a CMO. I've built and sold 4 of my own companies. I work with large companies managing teams of experts with $1 million budgets, as well as startups bringing their product and service to market. I made this video just for you. Do you need an entrepreneurial-minded marketing leader? Let's schedule a quick discovery call to ensure this will be a perfect fit. Would Tuesday at 11 or Wednesday at 2 work for you? P.S. Please see my review in my profile from Amy J, where I completed a project very similar to yours with a 5-star review. You might not see that is any different than yours, but I'm going to tell you exactly why this works so well. Okay. Number 1, hi, first name. I want to show you how to find the first name of a client. Now, when a client posts a job, or a prospect at this point, they're not a client. When a prospect posts a job, you can see the job, you can read about it, but at the bottom, Upwork provides the client's recent history. So all the other jobs they posted before. In that section, freelancers have given feedback to previous jobs that have been completed. Oftentimes, the freelancer says the first name of the client, okay? So in this case, it was an amazing experience working with Sean and Zach. Sean is an intelligent man. It was a joy working with Sean. Obviously, this guy's name is Sean. He probably has a co-founder named Zach, right? So now you can address your bid letter by the first name. Imagine they're reviewing 20 or 30 freelance bid letters, and you're the only one that addresses them by name. Boom, instant credibility, okay? The next sentence, interesting job post. Too often I don't see enough detail in job posts, and the detail you provided was great. Okay, it's generic enough because you don't have the company information and name yet, but it's personal. It gives them a compliment, and it says, hey, you know what? Thanks for putting all the detail. Now I really understand the scope of work. I want you to take that sentence and I want to make it your own. Okay, you don't need to copy it word for word because there's hundreds of people in this webinar, and now people are going to be putting that exact phrase in the bid letters. But make it your own. Turn it around a little bit. You want to offer them something that is a little bit of a compliment and a little bit of personability. All right. Now, the next sentence really is just keywords that I picked out of that job description, and I put it into my own experience. So they were specifically looking for somebody who worked with large companies that has managed multi-million-dollar budgets. I know you don't see the job description, but this particular one was about they were acquiring this company and they wanted to fold that product or service into their company. So I basically just paragraphed what they were wanting into my own words. And then I said, I made this video just for you. And I went to loom.com and I just shot a video where I just went down their job description and I just said, hey, I'd love to talk to you. It's that personability that they're not going to get from anybody else who applied. Okay. Do you need an entrepreneurial-minded marketing leader? There's that leading question. Now, it sounds stupid because in their job description, they literally said, we need an entrepreneurial-minded marketing leader. And I'm asking them, do you need an entrepreneurial-minded marketing leader? But I'm telling you, they're like, they see that commonality and they're like, yeah, we do need one. Oftentimes, they don't even remember exactly what they put in the job post. So you're speaking their language when you say something like that. Now, I used to put a link to my Calendly so they can schedule a time with me, but now Upwork doesn't allow that. So what I do is I say, let's schedule a quick discovery call to ensure this is a perfect fit. Would Tuesday at 11 or Wednesday at 2? I'm giving them 2 options. The reason why is because I used to just say, would Tuesday at 11 work for you? I'd wait a day, I'd get a response, and then I'd send a response back. And then 3 days later, we finally find a time to meet, but 300 other applications came in and now my chances are diluted. So I gave them 2 options. They picked the one that works well for them, and I've never had an issue with that. Okay? PS. The PS line is the most read line in the entire bid letter process. And I know there's been lots of stats that have proven this for emails. Other than the subject line, the PS line is the most read line. You want to reference your profile again. So in this case, I referenced a 5-star review for a very similar job. So they get a chance to go back to my profile, they read something awesome about me from a previous client. Cool? All right. Hope that helps. Now, you've learned how to get exposure on Upwork, more exposure. You've learned how to convert that exposure to clients. And now I'm going to show you how to reduce that Walmart effect that a lot of people that don't like Upwork, you read these bad reviews of people, on forums and stuff about Upwork. It's all because the Walmart effect. People say it's about chasing the lowest price. It doesn't have to be like that. In fact, it's the opposite. I'm wondering if anybody here has seen The Wolf of Wall Street, one of my favorite movies. If you haven't, make that a homework assignment. It's entertaining and it's hilarious, but it also teaches a very good lesson about business. Now, don't get me wrong, this guy's a criminal. He ripped off a lot of people, but the entire concept of the movie was that he was a great salesman. He can sell anything, okay? And now he's actually out of prison. The guy who runs this company, Jordan Belfort, who the movie was about, it's a concept of sell me this pen. So he hands you this seemingly invaluable object and he wants you to sell him like on the spot, like how can you make this pen as valuable as possible to me? Now, the reason why this is important is because when you go on discovery calls with clients and when you're trying to convert them to a higher fee or try to justify your price, you want to be able to sell yourself. And there's some lessons here in the sell me this pen section that I'm going to show you on how to provide the best value to your prospects. There are 3 things that you need to know with how people buy and how people make purchasing decisions. Now, I'm a certified neuromarketer. That's the process in which people, it's basically the trigger in your brain that gets people to go from, I'm going to let my guard down and I'm going to pull up my wallet and pay for this product or this service, whatever. Okay, 3 things. People buy because of emotion and they justify with logic, number 1. Number 2, people don't buy their way into something. They buy their way out of something. Number 3, people don't buy a service, they buy stories. All right, you need to know these 3 elements and understand them. You don't need to memorize them, you just need to understand them. Because once you understand these, your ability to close more clients will open up infinitely, okay? Let's go through the first one. People buy because of emotion and they justify with logic. Now, people afford what they want to afford. So for an example, just last week, someone was wanting to buy my Upwork Mastery course and he was emailing me like tons of questions, like 30, 40 times. He'd be emailing all sorts of questions and the course is only $49. I never saw the order go through. So a week later, I followed up and hey, did you ever order that Upwork Mastery course? He's like, no, I'm out of money because I purchased a $700 iPhone because I'm out of my house a lot and I want to be able to service clients when I'm mobile. So I'm like, do you even have any clients? He's like, no, but when I get them, I'll be able to service them better because now I have my iPhone. So instead of buying a course for a few dollars that will teach him how to get clients and make thousands of dollars, he spent hundreds of dollars on a new phone and still doesn't have any clients. All right. So the bottom line is here, he justified his purchase with emotion, and he purchased because of his emotion. He tried to justify it with a logic that didn't really make sense. Okay. And you might think of that, next time you go down to a car lot and the car salesman tries to put you in a car that you just barely can't afford, right? But they're going to show you all these cool features. The second thing is people don't buy their way into something, they buy their way out of something. Successful travel agents don't sell destinations with clear blue water and white sand, they sell escapes. They sell escape from stress, escape from the daily grind, all that good stuff. That's what sells vacation packages, all right? People don't buy a service, they buy stories. So after a call with a prospect, I guarantee you they're going to remember more about the story of what you do or a story that you told them rather than how many years of experience you have. It doesn't matter. The difference between 7 years experience and 15 years experience doesn't matter. If you tell them a story, if you convert your value into a story, they're going to remember that. All right. People buy a service. People don't buy a service. They buy stories. Just remember, it's all about perception. It all comes down to the perception of the value and the actual value being created. So if you want to earn higher fees, I want you to focus on providing and communicating more values. Communicating is a key word there. I've had a freelancer working for me for about 3 years now. He does various tasks, and just recently I realized he has this older skill set regarding graphic design. I had no idea. He just never communicated that to me, and I could have been paying him this whole time other than all these other freelancers I've been hiring. So he just didn't communicate that value, but he had it. So make sure that you understand all the benefits that you can provide a client. So here's my experiment. As you guys know, I experiment a lot, and my rate was $85 an hour to do marketing strategy work. Overnight, one of my experiments I did was I decided to change it to some random number at like $150 an hour. I said, you know what? If I don't get any clients, I'll use it as a learning experience, and I'll know what my threshold is, what clients will be willing to pay. So I changed it to $150 an hour. And the month after that, I changed it to $190. So what happened? I got more clients. I got better clients. Not only that, but I got less micromanagement because they're paying a premium price. They had confidence that I could do what they needed done. And I got more billable hours as a result, and I've never looked back since, okay? And I'm still charging $190 an hour, okay? And that was years ago. Probably should raise it. Your fees are rarely the reason a buyer will not hire you. If you take nothing away from this webinar, understand that your fees are rarely the reason why a buyer will not hire you. The real issue is that the buyer can't justify spending a certain level of money because they don't see that the price is aligned with the value that they're receiving. I just fired a freelancer. That's a bad word. I just stopped using a freelancer for like $35 an hour, and I hired someone for $150 because I'm getting more value out of that person for $150 an hour than $35, because I know I send one quick email and I know it's done right. I don't have to check his work. I don't have to spend a lot of time explaining the job to him. He just gets it, and that's worth so much more to me than having to go through and just double check everything, okay? So focus on providing and communicating more value. So how do we get that premium price? You might be screaming at your screen, Mike, how do I raise my rates? I've never done that. I haven't done it for years. I'm going to show you. Now, you've made it this far in the presentation. I know you're going to spend the time to do this homework assignment because it's going to change your entire outlook of freelancing. I want you to write down at least 20 benefits that people get as a result of working with you. And you're going to do this for 2 reasons. Number one, once you write them down, you'll be able to communicate it better. But number 2, once you write it down, you'll be able to know what you have to measure so you can better communicate. Here's an example, a graphic designer. A benefit would be my clients appear more professional now that they have better design. They feel better about their corporate image. They make more sales. They get more leads. They improve conversion rates. They attract more people to their list. All those benefits could be seen by a graphic designer. So now that you know your benefit, you can measure, say, conversion rates. So you're working with a client, they're getting like, I don't know, 1,000 sales a month. And after you did some design changes on their website, they're now have an improved conversion of 10%. So now they're making, 11,000 a month instead of 10,000. That's $1,000 extra every month that they are now getting because they hired you as a graphic designer. So now, if you do this exercise, you're going to find that value that you provide to clients is way more than you charge, even if you raise your rates, okay? Now I want you to define your niche. We're almost to the end, guys. I want you to define your niche. A niche turns you into a specialist. A niche is the difference between being a generalist, where you're taking a net and you're throwing it into water and you're seeing what fish come up. And a niche means it's almost like you're spearfishing, where you eyeball a fish, you throw it, and you got it. Okay, that's what a niche is. Clients are looking for solutions to specific problems. And the more you niche down, the more you're going to match a client, the more perceived value you have right away without ever saying a word. Here's what's not a niche. Blog writer. Here's what is a niche. Blog writer for the tennis industry. Here's what's not a niche. Marketing expert. Here's what is a niche. Marketing expert for enterprise SaaS companies. Here's what's not a niche. Graphic designer. Here's what is a niche. Product packaging design expert for consumable goods. See the difference there? Now you might think, Mike, I don't want to alienate myself from, I'm a graphic designer. I want to just accept everything. I'm telling you, once you do this, there's thousands of different niches, millions of them, and every one of them has millions of dollars at stake. Once you understand your focus, you can go out and get that so much easier, okay? The next thing, I want you to sell benefits and not features. This is huge, okay? Don't focus on what you do. Focus on the outcome that what you do provides. It's a difference between a virtual assistant saying, I can check your emails and respond to customer inquiries, or saying you can save hours of time each and every week. There are 2 main things that client cares about: saving time and saving and making money. That's it. Those are the 2 huge things, all right? So I want you to write down all of your benefits and I want you to memorize them, all right? That's a good homework assignment for you. The company, Upwork as a whole, all right, their feature is that they have millions of freelancers, but they don't say that. They say their benefit. You can get things done by tapping into a comprehensive pool of talent. An IT support freelancer might have a feature of on-call software expert, but the benefit is they don't let IT problems ruin your day, solve your software issues in minutes with a simple phone call. That's a benefit. A copywriter, the feature may be you can do search engine optimized content, but the benefit is you can get found by your customers on Google with SEO copy that tops their rankings. You understand? You see the difference? It takes a little bit of getting used to, but by default, people's brains go to like features. And then if you need to go over to benefits, you're gonna see an amazing array of your conversions from prospect to clients will just go through the roof, okay? You need to understand the difference between features and benefits. All right, so that's the end. Wow, did I do good on time there? All right, we got a little bit of time for question and answer. So, again, my name is Mike Volkin. I work for Freelancer Masterclass.com, and I have 3 courses for sale. I don't want to sell it too much, but Will, I'll open up the floor to questions.
Mike, that was fantastic. The whole time I was fielding amazing questions from everyone. That's
Cool.
Fantastic information. I think you're going to have your work cut out for you answering some direct messages after this.
All right. While I wait, I'll see my Upwork mug there. There we go.
So, so a lot of people were asking about any advice on your opening lines when putting out bids. So a lot of people, we can look, if there's a client history, when you see a project you like and you want to put a bid on it, you can see sometimes they'll mention the name, but sometimes you can't get the name. Sometimes they're really vague in what they're asking for. Any advice when there's not obvious things to lock on, like they don't give a lot of information, they don't give the name, what would you advise in that scenario?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's just that I'm experienced enough or I've been doing this a long time, but I can't remember the last time I didn't find something. So look in the previous client's history, look at their reviews, so note a project they just finished, like, hey, I noticed you just did a website redesign. Now I see you need marketing. Like, that's a good opening sentence that shows that you did research into them. And if there's like absolutely nothing that you can say, make it as personable as possible. Just if you know what industry they're in, maybe if there's something in the job description that you can reference right away, you can take that PS line and you can put it on that first line to get them back into your profile. But rarely, if ever, I think less than 1% of the time could you not find anything at all to reference.
Yeah, valuable. Another good one was you mentioned that oftentimes when you put out a proposal to clients, you'll do a specific video geared towards it, saying here's a game plan. How long do you recommend those videos to be? Are we talking 60 seconds? Are we talking inside of 3 minutes?
Yeah, I would say 3 minutes. 60 seconds might be a bit of a stretch. The shorter the better, but you want to make sure you get your value across. Usually if I see a video from a freelancer and it's longer than 3 minutes, I kind of skip ahead and I look at the first few seconds. But if it's a 3 minute or less, I'll watch the whole thing. So generally, it's through YouTube, so you can see the stats on it, and YouTube provides all these cool stats on how long it's being watched. So just keep an eye on your stats, but generally, if you're not a stats person, I would keep it under 3 minutes.
Perfect. And then could you scroll back up to the slide where you talked about where I had the 3 different pictures of the profile pictures? There's a few questions on that one. I wanted to come back to it. I thought that was really cool. I also took a note myself.
Well, that's a very first one. I got a lot of clicking.
Yeah, the general questions here were basically, how do you choose what profile picture to do? And I think, Mike, you did a fantastic job. That photofeeler.com, it's basically, as I understood it, it was crowdsourcing the 3 different sections. What was it? Do I look competent? Do I look likable? Do I look influential?
Yep.
So it's a great way to find out which profile picture people lock onto. And as you said, does it really matter why they lock onto it, or does it matter that you know that they locked onto it?
Yeah. You don't need to know the sauce. You don't need to know how it's made. Just understand, get the sauce and you get the end result. Yeah, don't question it. Just go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I had a question that came up that I thought was pretty valuable. This client was an ongoing client, and after a couple months they've been working with the person, they thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and give you a discount. And they were starting to question whether that was a good idea. And my personal view is one way. I want to hear your personal view.
Well, I don't do discounts. That just basically, if a client asks for discounts and you just haven't perceived your value well enough, you need to keep hitting the value. I give a whole class on discovery call. Maybe that could be another webinar. But on the discovery call, you really need to know how to communicate your value. I can't even remember the last time I was asked for a discount or to lessen my rate. It's just when when you get asked and you're put under a gun and you really need the job or want the job, then go ahead and give a discount, but use that as a learning experience to refine your tactics and communicate more value so it happens less and less over time. Okay?
Yeah. Absolutely. For me, now there's obviously circumstances. Maybe it started off as, hey, do me one flyer, and then they came back and said, all right, now we want 75 flyers. It may make sense to do a bulk discount at that point, potentially. Sure. But other than that, you're devaluing yourself, which does not give the client the warm and fuzzies, because if you don't value you, why should they value you?
Yep. Like I said in my presentation, clients rarely hire on price. If they're asking you about price, then there's something that they're still searching for from you that has to do with the value. So you just need to communicate that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely. And then another one that's coming up, a lot of people were asking, how did you find your price point? We went through the slides and you ended up finishing on $190 an hour. Was there a specific reason that you stopped there? Did you find it just sort of fell off after that, or you just felt weird?
No, I didn't. I wouldn't say I stopped there. I mean, I've done some testing on it. That's a good price point for me. But really, what you do is if you are full of work and you can't take on any more work, then you raise your rate. I mean, bottom line, like, and likewise, vice versa. Like, if you can't find enough work and maybe you're just not communicating that value, lower your rate and just find that price point where you're full of work and you're happy with the rate that you're charging.
Got it. Perfect. And then a question that came up, when you're scrolling through your different Upwork feed for different jobs, let's say you're charging $80 an hour for whatever you're doing, and you're seeing a lot of people where their budget is $60 an hour. Is it even worth engaging with these people? And if so, what do you do to make sure you're not, getting paid
Absolutely.
too little?
Yeah, look, so the minimum fee to work with me, like as a fractional CMO, is $3,000 a month. Like I'll be straight up honest about that. But rarely does a client ever say, my budget is $3,000 a month. Clients often don't know what needs to be done. They just know, they don't know what it takes to get something done. So they might see, they might put up a price for $60 an hour. But if they find that you're producing enough value, over and above what they originally envisioned, I've had clients double, triple their original estimates. It's just a lot of times when clients post jobs or prospects post jobs, they either pick from one of the radio buttons that Upwork provides or the custom price option. They don't know. They're shooting it out there. It's like a conversation starter, right? It's almost like, I hate to compare it to buying a car, but it's like the sticker price isn't the price most people buy the car at, right? So it's a starting point for negotiations. Your job at that point to get them up through your communicated value to the price that you want.
Absolutely. I do the same. And oftentimes I find that, at least for the clients that I approach, oftentimes they don't know. They're coming to Upwork because they don't know the industry. They don't know what it should cost. They don't know how long it takes. They don't even know necessarily the right terminology for it oftentimes. Right. Yeah. So don't let that scare you off. Address it and back it up with facts on why.
Exactly. Yeah. It's your job as the expert freelancer they're looking to hire is to communicate exactly what the job entails. And once they understand that, and a lot of times they don't, that's where they start raising their original estimates from.
Absolutely. And then I'm not sure if we talked about this, but one of the things that came up for me when we were trying to figure out, what to charge, like obviously I agree with you. If you're trying to work 40 hours a week and you find that you're working 60, you raise your rate until you're back at that 40, right? Yeah. But one of the tools that I found that was very helpful when I honestly had no idea what I should be charging is in Upwork, when you're on the freelancer side, if you go up to the top, you can actually search freelancers by category. So for me, I searched graphic design, and it showed me the top billable graphic design people. I could see their profile and I could see, okay, they're charging X. And I'm like, if I can't do that, I should go lower. So that was one of the ways that I valued myself. Are there other ways that you found to value yourself, especially if you're new and you don't really have a feel for it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, let me just say this. Hourly rates are a terrible indicator of work output. Here's an example. I just hired 2 blog writers at the same rate to write almost the same blog, but one of them delivered it twice as fast. Even though they're the same rate. So really, even though they were both, I think it was $60 an hour, one of them got the job done in $120 an hour, and the other one took 200 something, or $120 as the total project cost, and the other one took 200 something. So they appeared to be the same. So don't think of it like my hourly rate, like this is the speed at which I work, and I'm comparing you to the other people on the other freelancers I find. You don't know how fast those guys work. So you want to look at your overall benefits that you provide. And once you do that, you'll be able to have confidence that you're worth more than you think you're worth, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew it was a sore subject for me when I don't want to overcharge or be, I'm
Yeah,
the guy, but you find out,
yeah.
you look out there and you'd be surprised. I think most freelancers that I've talked to about this have been pleasantly surprised when they've gone and looked at this and realized, okay, I'm worth more than I'm charging.
Yeah, I mean, look, $100,000 a year full-time work, that equates to about $48 an hour, or 45, somewhere around there. Like, there's 2,080 work hours in the year. So if you think about, like, as a corporate job, if you're working right now, I have a salary, divide your salary by 2,080. That's how much your employer is saying that you're worth to them. Now, you can probably most likely be just as successful, if not more successful, freelancing for 4 to 6 hours a day. I say I try to keep my billable hours less than 6 hours a day, because there's always, 2 hours a day, I'm checking Upwork, I'm responding to job, you're working in your business a little bit. So you don't want to be full of work 8 hours a day as a freelancer. You're going to be just as miserable as a corporate job working your butt off. All right. The greatest thing about being a freelancer is you can put your passion first. Like, I love to play tennis. I play tennis every day. I play tennis in the middle of the day and then work at night if I want to. Like, there isn't a corporate job in the world that will allow you to do that. And that's what makes freelancing so great. So when you think about what you're worth to your employer, take that number, divide it by 2,080, and then you can make more than that freelancing.
Yeah, I love it. That's great. So a lot of people, so in the example you use where let's say you're working 40 hours a week on projects and you still have all the administrative things like billing, like prospecting for new clients. At that point, what would be your statement to someone if they were like, should I start an agency on Upwork or should I stay as an
Yeah.
individual?
Yeah, so agencies have a very specific niche and they have a very specific process to the way they do the work, right? So an example of an agency would be like Facebook ads funnel expert. Like, that's an agency. I see too many agencies, quote unquote, on Upwork, and they're just trying to get as much business as they can and then outsource the work. That's not an agency, and it's not scalable, and you're going to drive yourself crazy doing that. And there's a lot of project management, a lot of things that could be missed. And you're better off just trying to bring in your own work and freelance for yourself. But if you have a very specific niche and a process in which to funnel clients through, that's when an agency should be set up.
Got it. Perfect. All right, I'm just filtering through some of these questions. We have a whole bunch going through. To those that we have not addressed, I apologize. Sort of trying to do the ones that are most general and applicable to the large group here. Okay, a lot of questions have been coming up on what is your thought on when you're working on Upwork, hourly versus fixed rate? Do you have a preference that you lean one way or the other? Is it situational? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, for coaching, I do freelance coaching and entrepreneur coaching. I do hourly, right? But I try to get as much fixed price work as I can, because like I said earlier, hourly rates are a terrible indicator of work output. So I like to really scope out a good project with the client, really understand what it's going to take every month, and tell them this is what you're going to expect. Now, sometimes I work harder than expected for that month, but sometimes I work not as hard as expected, right? It's just business. It ebbs and flows.
Yeah,
But if it keeps things nice and simple for the client, they know the expenses every month when you do that, and they don't get that sticker shock as, whoa, you worked 20 hours this week. I only had 8 billable hours for you. So because like I said earlier, a lot of times clients don't know what it takes to complete a job, so they underestimate the hours, right? So I like to do
yeah.
fixed jobs, but in order to do fixed jobs, you really have to scope out a good work. You have to know
Yeah.
what the project is to the last detail and understand how many hours it's going to take you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the one of the most important takeaways from what you're saying there is to establish the scope of the work if you're doing fixed rate. My advice to the very new people that are just starting freelancing, you probably don't know how long all the projects take or what specific questions to pull out of the client. I
Mm-hmm.
personally started mainly on hourly, and then when I had repeat sort of jobs like, hey, do the logo, do the whatever,
Yeah.
I generally know what they take, and more or less it fits within that window. So don't be afraid to do a mix and match of both. But I agree. Once you've become an expert in your specific niche, you're able to pretty accurately predict the amount of time it'll take. So fixed rate gives them the warm and fuzzies.
Yeah, that's really good advice. If you're new, do hourly until you get comfortable and you're really able to scope out the work that's being done, and then you can switch over to flat rate. I have a content marketing plan that I give out to, it's like 20 pages or something I give out to clients. Now, I don't charge them hourly. I charge them a flat rate because, it takes me about 20% just to fix that. It's a template, and I just I change 20% of it, and I charge them the rate as if I made it from scratch. They're happy because they're getting something for cheaper than they normally would and with great quality, and that is proven to work, but I'm not charging hourly because it would have taken me 20 minutes to put that together, because I'm using years of experience that I've built over, making this content strategy. So if you can get work that is template-ish, then that fixed rate is gold for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, a lot of people have been asking if this recording is available. It is available. I'm going to go ahead and paste this in the chat here. So the same link that you guys used to register for this webinar is where the recording will be available in a couple hours. I highly recommend you download. This is great content. And for further information, contact Mike directly. There on the screen, you should see his website. I know there's a few questions coming in here, but we're running up to the wire. So any last words before we disconnect here, Mike?
Yeah, thanks for asking. You know what, there's a lot of people on this call. If you have questions that weren't answered, just reach out to me through my website. I have a couple of assistants too. Be happy to answer them. We'll get back to you in a few days or less.
Fantastic. Hey, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so much, Mike, for taking the time with us. This is amazing information. Look forward to having you on again another time.
Thank you.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.